Star Wars Rebels Episode 1 and 2, The Spark of Rebellion. First off, Rebels is a different show. Clone Wars ended on a cliffhanger, and this show is not set during the Clone Wars like Clone Wars was. This is actually set way before A New Hope and in between Revenge of the Sith. After all the Jedis were wiped out, now a tag team group of rebels works to stop the Empire. That's kind of a terrible premise, first off, because of the fact that, well, we know that the Empire falls. We've seen the movies. We've seen A New Hope. We've seen Empire Strikes Back. We've seen Return of the Jedi. We know how all this turns out. But does that make this show really that bad? No, I think that premise is just kind of dumb to set it here. But the characters are what is making me interested. And you'll see how that kind of gets destroyed by the end of the first season. But Ezra is this character who we don't really know where he came from. We don't see his parents. He's kind of like Rey and Luke. They're just kind of randomly on a desert planet. No real parents. And it's kind of weird that they keep using that same stupid storyline over and over again. But he goes and looks for, well, no, he doesn't look for, he finds the rebels on a mission, interrupts their mission, and ends up being stuck on their ship and joining them on a mission to save the Wookiees, and then joins the rebels and decides to be trained in the ways of the Force by Kanan, who is secretly one of the surviving Jedi of Order 66. So now Kanan is on the run from the Jedi. Or from the Empire. And that scene was really good because you just see him come out and you see kind of just him come out, and it's a magical scene. Like the music, it's just the way the shot composition, how everything comes together when he comes out and just, I'm a Jedi. What of it? And it's a good scene. And I don't like quite a bit of these other characters. Zeb is a terrible character. He's kind of this big buff brute, and he works in as a child comic relief. This show is more aimed at kids. Clone Wars, yes, was a kid's show, but it was not on the same level as this. It wasn't like, oh, we gotta make it for 12, 10-year-olds, 8-year-olds, whatever. This is what this show is. There's darker things in it, like there's an Inquisitor, there's the mention of the Order 66, which most kids wouldn't know about, and there's the more kiddie art style compared to what Clone Wars looks like. This is a little bit more kiddie, I guess. And it's really to the show's downfall. Why do this? The comedy especially is just it is terrible because it's aiming such for little kids, but little kids wouldn't laugh at this. Little kids wouldn't do that. It's not funny. It's not funny to them. It's not funny to me. It's terrible. It's boring. I've actually watched this with some of my cousins before, and they're younger cousins, and they do not they do not laugh at the comedy in the show. So yeah, this show is not that good with the comedy department, and in this episode, it is featured a lot, and this is an hour-long episode because it's basically 2 parts. But it was a TV movie when it aired. I actually watched this when it aired, believe it or not. I didn't watch the whole series when it aired, but I did watch this pilot when it aired. And I was interested to watch the show, but this episode just was not all that fun or interesting. And there's not much here character-wise, and there's really not that much through most of Season 1. I know it's kind of a spoiler for my reviews, but it's not. I did like that the whole thing was just about saving the Wookiees. I think this is just a really long episode of Rebels. Most episodes are like this, but this episode's longer because they need to introduce the characters, but They really don't do that all too much. So it's like, I don't understand why this needed to be as long as it is. They just dragged out the pacing more, basically. I don't know. But yeah, this episode's okay. It's about a 5 out of 10.